There is a street in the city of Porto, Portugal. A narrow cobblestone lane flanked by crumbling plaster walls and iron balconies draped with laundry. Trams rattle past it every morning. Children walk its length to school. Shopkeepers open their shutters and sweep their stoops and never look twice at the man sleeping in the doorway of number 14. His name was Elias. He had been sleeping in that doorway for 3 years. And for 3 years, nobody noticed what he was doing. What he was doing would save all of them. This is Told in the Dark. Elias Varela was 51 years old. He had once been one of the most respected structural engineers in Lisbon. A man who had designed bridges, planned flood barriers, spent 30 years studying how structures hold and how they fail. Then his wife died. Then his firm collapsed. Then his daughter stopped returning his calls. Grief does not announce itself with a single blow. It dismantles you room by room. By the time Elias reached Porto, a city he had chosen because he did not know a single person in it, he had nothing left but a canvas bag, a battered notebook, and the particular kind of quiet that settles over a man who has stopped expecting anything from the world. He found the doorway of number 14 on a Tuesday night in February. He was not planning to stay. He stayed for 3 years. What none of the residents of Rua das Flores knew, what none of them had any reason to suspect, was that Elias Varela had spent 30 years learning to read buildings, the way a doctor reads a patient, quietly, systematically, watching for the things that do not announce themselves. From his doorway, Elias could see 6 buildings. He could see the diagonal crack running through the facade of number 9 that had been widening, almost imperceptibly, for at least 2 years. He could see the drainage pipe at number 17 that had been leaking at its base through every heavy rain for 18 months. He could see the retaining wall at the top of the lane, built in 1962, never reinforced, serving as the only barrier between the lane and the hillside above it. And he could see that the wall was failing, slowly, invisibly, with the particular patience of a thing that has been under pressure for 60 years and is approaching the limit of what it can hold. Elias filled an entire notebook. Measurements, dates, rainfall data he tracked from a doorway with a notebook and a penknife, and the kind of knowledge that does not leave a man just because he has lost everything else. He knew what was going to happen. He knew roughly when. And he had no way, none, of making anyone listen to him. In October of that year, Elias walked into the office of the municipal council. He was turned away at the reception desk. He returned the following week. He had written a 4-page structural assessment in the notebook. He asked to speak to a building inspector. The woman at the desk looked at his clothes, his unwashed hands, the canvas bag he set carefully on the counter. She told him the building inspector was unavailable. He returned a 3rd time. He was asked to leave. He tried the fire department. He tried the neighborhood association. He stood outside the local school one morning and tried to speak to a teacher who was unlocking the gate. The teacher took one look at him and went inside without a word. There is a particular cruelty in being dismissed not because your information is wrong, but because of what you look like while delivering it. Elias understood this. He had understood it from the first day. He had also decided it did not change what needed to be done. So he changed his approach. If the world would not let Elias warn them, he would protect them himself. In the deep hours of the night, when the lane was empty and the buildings were dark, Elias worked. He cleared the drainage channel at the base of number 17 by hand, moving 3 winters of accumulated debris, stone by stone, until the water flowed cleanly. He spliced and redirected the pipe using materials salvaged from a building site 2 streets away. He spent 6 weeks reinforcing the base of the retaining wall. He had no cement mixer, no power tools, no assistant. He used rubble, salvaged stone, a technique called dry stone repair that engineers have used for 2,000 years and that requires nothing except knowledge and time. He had both. He worked every night between 2 and 4 in the morning. He sealed the crack in number 9 with a lime mortar mix he prepared in an empty paint tin. He packed it with a wooden spatula he had carved himself. Nobody saw him. Nobody heard him. The lane simply, slowly became safer. On the 14th of March, a storm system struck the Atlantic coast of Portugal. In Porto, rainfall in a single 6-hour period exceeded the monthly average. The hillside above Rua das Flores began to move. 17 tons of saturated earth shifted toward the lane. The residents felt it as a deep vibration in their walls. Several woke. Several went to their windows. They saw nothing. The rain was too heavy. The night too dark. The retaining wall held. Not because it was a new wall. Not because the council had reinforced it. Not because anyone who was supposed to protect this neighborhood had done anything at all. It held because a homeless man with a notebook and a knowledge of structural engineering had spent 6 weeks in the dark reinforcing it with his hands. In the morning, the lane was intact. The buildings were standing. The 11 families of Rua das Flores woke up, made their coffee and went about their lives. Not one of them knew how close they had come. 2 weeks after the storm, a structural engineer hired by the council to assess storm damage to the lane found the repairs to the retaining wall. He stood in front of them for a long time. He could not explain them. The work was expert. The technique was historical. The materials were salvaged, and the salvaging had been done with extraordinary care. He found the notebook in the doorway of number 14. He read it standing in the lane. By the time he reached the rainfall calculations, a precise, handwritten prediction of the storm's impact dated 4 months earlier, he was sitting on the curb. Elias was found 3 days later, 2 streets away. He was sitting on a bench in the Jardim do Infante Dom Enrique. A city council engineer sat beside him and said nothing for a moment. Then he said, "I read your notebook." Elias said nothing. The engineer said, "You saved this neighborhood. There are people who spend their entire lives waiting to be seen. And there are people who decide, in the darkness and the silence and the complete absence of recognition, to do what needs to be done anyway." Elias Varela was the second kind. He is the second kind. This was told in the dark.